All right, so for today's lesson, we're going to be talking about the equation of a circle. By the end of today, I'm hoping that you're going to be able to identify the center and radius of a circle given the equation, and also be able to write the equation given some pieces of information. So first things first, things we have to know about the equation of a circle in order to understand how to dissect it. Okay, so the equation of a circle is going to be x minus h squared y plus y minus k squared equals r squared, where hk is our center point, okay, and r stands, as usual, for the radius. So the two pieces of information that we always have to know about a circle is going to be its center, which is hk, and its radius, which is r. Okay, now one thing to really take into notice is that the fact that there's these minuses here, that means when we take our hk, we actually take the opposite sign of what's given. So maybe we have an equation that says x minus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals our 16. Okay, so when we're taking that h and k, we actually take the opposite sign that's what is in front of us. So it would be h equals 3 and k equals negative 2, because here it's a positive 2, so we take the opposite sign, which would be negative. So let us look at a few examples. Okay, so here we're trying to identify the center and the radius from the equation given to us. Now remember, our center point is hk. So on my equation, I have to label my h and my k. So here's h, here's k. Remember, we have to take the opposite sign. So here we have a negative 6, so our h is actually going to be positive. And again, here we have a negative 4 for our k, so it will be a positive 4. So our center point will be 6, 4. Now our radius, remember in our equation, it's r squared. So to get rid of something squared, we must take the square root. So the square root of 25 is equal to 5, so our radius will be 5. Okay, so let's try it again. Down here, we have our h and our k, so h is here, but we take the opposite sign, so negative 8. And now there's no number being added to this y. So if there's no number being added, it just means the value is 0. Okay? We have to take the square root. Our 7 is equal to r squared, so we have to take the square root of both sides. Please leave it as the square root of 7. I do not want a decimal. Please leave it as the square root of 7, because that is the most exact answer that we can get. So please try this next problem on your own. Remember, you're looking for the center and the radius. Remember, you take those opposite signs and you have to take the square root. So give it a shot, pause the video, and then check to see if your answer is correct. All right, so here our center point would have been negative 2, 1, and our radius would have been the square root of 2. Again, if you have any questions on this, please mark them on the side and ask them when you've come into class. The next thing we're going to attempt to do is write the equation of a circle given those pieces of information. Now, the key thing to remember is the equation of a circle. So that equation of a circle is going to be x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. Now this will be given to you on your formula sheet during the SOL, so you don't have to have it memorized. Okay, so they give me my center and I'm going to label everything. This is my h, this is my k, and then they've already told me my r, so that's already labeled for me. So I'm just going to plug in my pieces. So I'm going to have x minus 4 squared plus y minus a negative 3 squared equals my 6 squared. And now I just have to simplify. So there's nothing to simplify in the first part, so I'm just going to rewrite it as x minus 4 squared plus, now I have a minus and a minus, so those do become a plus. So I'm going to have y plus 3 squared equals my 6 squared, and 6 squared gives us a value of 36. So our final equation would read x minus 4 squared plus y plus 3 squared equals 36. For our second example, they give us a center point, but they give us the diameter. Now remember, the diameter is twice our radius, so I have to first divide my diameter by 2 to get my radius to be 10. Now I'm just going to label the rest of my pieces. So my negative 7 would be my h, my 0 would be k. I'm just going to again plug it into that formula above. So x minus a negative 7 squared plus y minus 0 squared equals 10 squared. So two minuses become addition. So x plus 7 squared plus y minus 0 would just give us a value of 0, so or of y, excuse me. So y squared equals 100, because 10 squared is 100. That would be our final equation. Again, that final equation would read x plus 7 squared plus y squared equals 100. This next example, I would like you to please try on your own. So feel free to pause the video here, work it out, and see how you do. All right, so our final solution here would have been x plus 2 squared plus 5 minus y squared equals 8. Remember, when you square a radical, you are multiplying it by itself, so then the number will pop out. The next thing we're going to look at in this video is finding the equation of a circle from the graph. So first we have to always identify our center point. So we're just going to count. Our center point here is at negative 1 and positive 2. Now we have to find our radius. When we're finding our radius, all we have to do is count from our center point to an outside point on the circle. So 1, 2, and 3. So our radius has a value of 3. And now we just have to plug it back into that equation. Now, if you can't remember the equation, it is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals r squared. So now I've found my pieces, and just as before, we just plug them into our equation. So x minus a negative 1 would become x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals our 3 squared. So our final answer would be x plus 1 squared plus y minus 2 squared equals 9. Okay, so this one was different from the other problems because we had to find the information before we could plug it in. So I would like you to please try this example on your own. Pause the video, give it a shot, and then see how you do. So for this graph, we should have gotten an equation of x plus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared equals 9. The last approach we're going to look at is graphing from its equation. So first we have to find that center point. So our center point for the above would be 0, -4, because remember I have to take the opposite sign. And my radius would be the square root of 4, which is 2. So I'm going to go to 0, -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Plot my point, and then I'm going to count away 2. So 1, 2 to the right, 1, 2 up, 1, 2 to the left, and 1, 2 down. And draw in my circle. Remember, circles are curved, so there should not be points or look like diamonds. Okay. For this example, I'd like you to please try it on your own. So go ahead and pause the video here and give it a shot and see how you do. So here we should have gotten our value to be a center of 1, -1, and a radius of 4. Then we should have graphed the center point at 1, -1, and then counted to the right, to the left, to the up, and to down, 4, and then just drew our circle. And remember, when you draw a circle, it must be curved. Now the rest of this worksheet we will complete in class. So if you have any questions, please write them on the side, and I will see you guys in class.